Cheers, guys. Happy
Cheers.
Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Very excited. We have a really cool guests plural, on today's episode. I'll let you guys introduce yourself in a second. Little context here. I met this handsome man over here backstage. I think it was Armin Mirren. Anyway, we met backstage at the Zero community event, and I was like, wow, like this guy's the man. And we exchanged something, I cannot say what, on camera, and I'm very happy to have him here. And since then, there's been a series of connectivity, tall, blonde individual named Spencer and other people, but I'll pause there and can you guys just introduce yourselves to the people who might not know who you are? You can start with, the lady of the house.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are oba+flip. He's Oba, I'm Flip. Mm-hmm. My name is Stella, and...
My name's Idris.
Amazing. And what do you guys do?
Well, right now we're currently pursuing a music career. I have a background in photography and doing video and content creation.
And I'm also an editor and a writer.
Writer, very cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, amazing. So Stella, Idris, together they are a combo duo of oba+flip, and you guys are Zero community residents, right?
Yes.
So, Stella, before you began shooting, she said that you guys have been together 5 years?
Yep, going on 5.5.
I love that. I'll drink to that. Drink to love, people. Love is love. I love love.
It's been a hard, long road.
That's amazing. So let's kind of rewind then, 5 years ago. Were you guys pursuing music, or did the music pursuit start as a couple, or... maybe explain the context of how you broke in to the music scene. Were you participants before you broke in? Would love to hear, how oba+flip, the entity, formed.
Yeah, so we did meet at a club. We met dancing.
Best way to meet.
Yes.
Is he a good dancer?
Oh, he's a great dancer.
Amazing.
That's what caught my eye. Looked like he was having a great time. Yeah, so that's how we met. So we met kind of in the music scene, but I wasn't super integrated in it. And then when the two of us started dating, he brought me to more and more shows, really introduced me to electronic music generally. And then we actually started DJing together, learned together during the pandemic, early 2020.
Very cool. That's a common thread with so many of the people that we speak to is the old Chinese proverb, it's chaos is both danger and opportunity. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, especially as it relates to music, saw the route of opportunity in all the chaos. All right, so...
And it was very much so a situation where we took it on as a shared interest. We wanted to learn something together.
Very cool.
Just kind of connect a little bit better, and what better way to do that than have a shared hobby that you can explore together?
I love that.
And it just continually grew into something better.
Very cool. So prior to you guys forming oba+flip DJ duo, did you guys have different styles or tastes in music? Obviously he brought you into the electronic window. So I know personally 5 years ago my taste in music was way different than my taste in music now. So what kind of music was Idris first showing you 5 years ago?
One of the first shows that I really remember standing out to me and connecting with the music was Blondish, actually, at the Brooklyn Monarch.
Okay.
I always had good taste.
Yeah, he always had good taste.
Snap.
So that was kind of one of my early connections.
I actually have sorry to interrupt you.
Blondish story.
I have a quick apology sidebar. Me and my girlfriend did not go to your guys' party because we went to Blondish and Pablo Fierro.
Yeah,
because I love
one.
it's not Josie's now what the fuck. I think they noticed that we weren't there, but that's more me having a boy crush on Pablo Fierro, but
Very
Josie
fair.
introduced me to Blondish, loves Blondish, but I'm sorry, Stella, continue.
Yeah, no, I love that. Look at all the connections.
And that was Blondish when they were a duo.
Yeah,
we caught
right?
We caught one of their
Yeah.
last, one of their last shows.
Yeah.
Which was great.
So that was really amazing. And then just club scene wise, You were a big regular at Good Room. And
Did
I
you
love
ever go
that
into
club.
Bad Room?
Oh yeah,
we,
of course.
We spent most of our time in the bad room.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Some good memories there, actually.
Oh yeah, lots of good memories. But yeah, he always had amazing music taste, and we've always connected really easily over music. I will say, I think as we play now, we kind of have. He tends to go like a little faster and harder, and I tend to
In terms
go
of BPM?
or just like vibe, I
Okay.
would say. And I tend to go like a little like slower and deeper, and so I think it works really well.
So
it
it's
makes
a
it
good
dynamic.
yin and yang,
Yeah, it
for
makes it
sure.
dynamic when we play together.
So Stella mentioned Blondish. If you had to put your finger on Idris, you know, like what kind of music you were listening to back then, and then I'm curious where you guys are like finding inspiration right now.
I would say we're pretty eclectic in regards to where we pull music from and who we like really connect to. I personally, I go through tons of phases.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have like a
He
3-4
gets little
month
obsessions.
phase,
Yeah.
obsessed with this guy. Like right now, I'm on like
Sounds familiar.
somewhat of I'm on a minimal kick right now, even
Okay.
though like I used to swear I hated it, you know, and I usually get a pretty good ride out of that. I think I would say I like Sidney Charles right now. He's
Okay.
someone that's been giving me a lot of inspiration. He has like a lot of like good, funky, minimal, deep tech grooves. And some people that I do like in the past that still are influencing my sound now, the NYC DJs.
Okay.
They're a super dynamic duo.
We got approval from we got approval from the audience right now. Okay.
You know, so yeah, it's pretty wide ranging for me.
What about
Mostly
early?
on, I would say guys that influenced me. Honestly, a lot of people who played within the Zero community.
Okay. My favorite party circuit in New York, by the way.
Yeah.
Like they
Ours
just
too.
get down.
Yeah, like I would say like early influences, like some people like Saba and Goldclap, of course Mira, some like let's see.
Crew, how many times have I said Saba
I mean-
throughout these episodes?
Everyone.
Every single one. Yeah.
I mean, I think too, obviously. Oh, Solomon also was, of course, like an early show for me where I think that was maybe my first like music ecstasy moment where I was just like, oh my god.
As in, you were on ecstasy, or
No,
like
just like pure enjoyment and experience,
Got
you
it.
know? Just feeling like at one with the moment and in the music.
very cool.
I would say
So,
that
of
that was
course,
during like
Solomon.
one of his 12-hour sets
Oh yeah.
that where you just can't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't let
Well,
you.
He won't let
he
you
also
leave.
doesn't leave.
Yeah.
We once went to Output when Output was still Output, and the night before we were there, it was like Claude Von Stroke did like a 12-hour house
Nice.
set, and the booth smelled like pee. Like it's like you like wonder like how they like I think he peed in the booth. I don't know if that's true. Is that my camera? Okay, I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it smelled like pee. All right, so. Influences, fantastic. We head into the pandemic, and you guys are both doing creative things. You're doing photography, you're writing, and you're editing, and you're like, all right, like we want to start a passion together. So, talk to me about what that kind of first step looked like and how it's evolved since then. You know, like the pandemic was like the moment, chaos, opportunity. You took the opportunity. What was that like?
Yeah, I would say overall it was pretty much like an experience where during the pandemic there's nowhere to really go out and party, express yourself, and like kind of connect with your friends. So, I mean, funny enough, we took it upon ourselves to kind of like throw little parties at our place very often, going against the occupancy rules where you're not allowed to have so many
We got him.
people.
Go.
You know, we're just kind of, bringing it out there. I know people are going to recognize that. But those opportunities where just like having your friends, people
Yeah.
you care about come over, you getting a chance to play for them. That
Share
kind
the
of,
music that you really care about, you know?
exactly. No like pressure to like, there was no really pressure to like perform to a certain audience. And we've kind of kept that too within our style Where like when we do go into a venue, we're not necessarily thinking about like, oh, these DJs play this style, so maybe we should cater to that.
So you're always playing your own music.
For sure.
Big respect for that.
Yes,
You both get a
absolutely,
pound.
you know?
And you have to like think about the vibe of the room, and obviously you're in consideration of what other people are playing, but I think like not making sacrifices for what you think people want to hear. You know, you can't truly know what anybody else wants to hear, so the best thing you can do is just, you know, play what you care about and hope people connect to that.
Yeah,
So.
that's also been a common theme with the people we spoke to, where they're like you guys, like rising in their musical career. They're trying to play bigger shows, bigger stages, create bigger influence, and they find themselves in situations where they feel the pressure to submit themselves to the qualms of the audience. Like, I don't like this, or this isn't XYZ, put a label on it. So as you guys go from throwing, I guess, your own events to party events, like how do you keep that, I guess, authenticity? Like knowing that, all right, I'm playing at TBA, or I'm playing at Brooklyn Monarch, or I'm playing here, and I want to get booked again. How do you juggle that? Or do you just say, fuck it?
Well, I think there's a big component that's like, fuck it. So, but at the same time, you do think about like who's throwing the party,
Yeah.
and what they represent.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of find that groove, but doing it in our own way.
Yeah,
you know?
like finding a way to fit our own style into that.
And I really enjoy doing that because like it gives you time to like really experiment with your own sound.
Yeah, totally.
And I kind of always see it like that, kind of like an experiment or a science project where we're kind of continually crafting our sound in a way where we can cater to that audience that we're playing for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think that you guys have natural advantages because you're a duo that sounds like you have like a bit of a yin and yang anyway? So it's like she centers you and you're trying to go too heavy, or, you know, you bring her to an extreme and she's trying to, you know, keep it more middle of the road?
Yeah, that definitely happens all the time, right? Because like, for instance, we were actually on our way here as we were driving, we're talking about a set that we're going to be doing in the future. And Stella was playing some grooves that she likes, and I was like, yeah, but you know, just make sure it's a little bit more hard driving and faster.
I want us to
You
move
know,
like this the
You
whole
know,
night.
like I want to have that bop in it all the time. Because I like to have that consistent bop for me. And then like,
you wanted to hit.
then Stella, she's a little bit more like less forward in her approach to letting me know. She pretty much lets me know via action, where I'll be like listening to some of the tracks. I was like, damn, this is fire. She's like, I know. This is
So who,
groove, you know?
so who brings like the most heat in terms of? So my girlfriend's a DJ. You guys have met her. You've seen her play. I think that like every, I don't know, like 1 out of 20 songs, I'll bring her and she's like, this is a weapon. Like this is a fucking weapon. Who, and you don't need to answer. Is there one of you that's like consistently bringing like the music to the table, or is it totally like a collaborative, cooperative effort?
Collaborative for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Definitely collaborative.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta work on that.
Yeah.
She's definitely bringing more heat than me, but I'm
Yeah.
not a DJ.
So you don't have to work on that.
But I like it. Like I love the discovery of new music. Similar to you though, I'll hear a song or an artist and I'll dial in on them for a week, 2 weeks, where it's like the only thing playing on our Sonos. But I know like in a different life, I think I could have been like an A&R. Like I'll hear something, I'm like, this shit is like, this person should be huge just based on this one song, which is kind of a good segue. Like, so you guys began throwing parties going into the pandemic. How do you make the connection or like end up being a Zero community resident? And for the uninitiated, could you explain like what, you know, Zero is, for those who don't know?
You want to take it over? Or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Zero, they're basically producing events within New York City and the electronic music genre that's very different compared to the other promoters in the city. I feel like a lot of the roots come from like the Berlin sound and style, and they kind of bring that energy and like kind of make it their own, where it can like really connect to the audience. Many of the artists they bring out here, they're just artists that like no other promoter would ever consider bringing out here, and this was like 10 years ago, you know, so they just have a ability to kind of be very progressive in their approach to the
Trend setting.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say, so when I hear Zero, I associate Zero sounds with like a very worldly, but not necessarily Berlin influence. Like my first exposure to Zero parties was really Middle Eastern kind of aesthetic and influence. It's like, you know, you hear like things that have like very Sephardic undertones, like kind of live flutes and like heavy percussion. Like that's like a sabo or like a gold cap, at least when I first started listening to them. Now I think, you know, I've seen them and they're playing like a heavier style of music that I think a lot of people who have gone to their parties has evolved into, you know, like it's that constant evolution of you as an individual compared to the music you're listening to. So,
But for sure, their roots kind of like, I feel like are very connected to Berlin. Even like with their, one of the biggest parties of the year, Caterblau Takeover.
plug it, go.
Like, I mean, it's pretty
No,
much,
plug it.
if not,
They're playing
probably-
Caterblau. They're playing Caterblau.
No, but the party that they throw
Yeah.
here in New York, which is Caterblau coming to New York,
Yeah.
taking over a space,
Yeah.
and that being the entire vibe, like that's like probably one of the best, the most prolific trend-setting events
sure.
that you can
Yeah.
have in New York City. And it's like it's all Berlin vibes mixed in with New York, which
Yeah.
is kind of the same.
We call
Twist
it, me and my girlfriend call it refined raving.
Yeah.
It's just like elevated raving. We've actually met some of our best friends. It was a Zero boat party and Satori was spinning. And I
think
wear
we were on
those
that
sandals
boat.
everywhere. Everywhere. And she goes, you can't wear sandals to a rave. I'm like, why not? And she's like, someone's gonna step on your feet. I'm like, it's a Zero party. They're gonna step on my feet and apologize, and we're gonna become best friends. Fast forward 2.5 hours, we're on the boat. Dude steps on my feet. Are we best friends? Like we're literally like, his name's Adam. Also lives in Miami. He's literally Adam. You're gonna see this. I love you, dude. But like, I like love that natural, almost division that's happened within dance music where you have like this refined raving that's really worldly and it's really connective in nature. And the people that go to your events and the events that we go to, like they're not going to EDC.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to EZoo.
Yeah.
And I think that part of the reason why I'm doing this is to cast a light on like the other side of dance music, which is much less mainstream and much less in your face, but the parties are so much better and the people I think are just so much more genuine and like there's so much, I can say so much about it.
Yeah, it's like after partying in this scene for a while, when you go to a different event and you're just getting like shoved all over the place and you're like, what's up with this? Why are people like less aware? You know, it's just nice to, you know, be with people who are aware of the space that they're taking up and also are really there for the music. I mean, for me, I think that's one of the things that I like most about Zero is I think the crowd and the, you know, production company itself is like really, really music focused.
For sure.
And that, because, you know, there's amazing music in New York, but I have also noticed that a lot of parties are kind of like social. It's like a lot of talking and connecting and, oh, I saw you last week. What are you doing this week? I always like the ones where it's just like people are really there to dance and listen to the music.
That
even though-
resonates a lot with me.
Yeah.
Like when I hear people in full-blown conversations, I'm like, word?
I'm like, why are you standing right next to the speaker having this conversation?
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Go to
And
the
just-
smoking section.
I just wanted to co-sign on the sandals wear.
Hey!
I also wear my Birkenstocks to
These-
parties.
I wear these all the time.
They're just the
They're
best.
most comfy
They're the
shoes.
best.
You know.
It's very rare for people to step on your feet
Let's
anyway.
quickly, like, these things,
Oh my
$20 are amazing. All right, dope. So gonna double back quickly. So we got an idea of like what Zero is, the type of vibes they throw. How does oba+flip the duo like go from, all right, we're fucking with what you guys are doing on a holistic level, we want to play your events. What does that kind of what does that look like?
Honestly, it was a natural progression. Obviously, we had been going to their events for years and enjoying the vibe they play, but we weren't necessarily saying, hey, we want to play within that community.
So then talk about like the building blocks. Like you guys are playing other shows. Like when's that moment where they're like, we want you to come, and play one of our parties? And since then, like you guys are a regular, like at a lot of, you're going to Berlin in a couple of weeks, which is awesome. Like tell me about what that looks like.
It was a natural progression for us. As we mentioned before, during COVID, we were kind of like throwing our own parties, throwing our own kind of semi-retreat parties in upstate New York.
Where was my invite?
Just
joking.
The next one.
Send
the
a
next
time
one.
machine back, That was a good time.
Time machine,
You'll enjoy it.
crew. We
You'll
need the
enjoy
time
it.
machine.
Go. But you had mentioned Armin Moran earlier, who's now a good friend of ours. I think that he was probably our really
kind of foot in the door.
First foot in the door with Zero. He had an event that he was playing at and producing with Zero.
Winter Wonderland a couple
along
years
with his
ago.
own brand called Reborn, and they kind of did a tie-up, Zero and Reborn together, and he had suggested us to play on his lineup, and from then on, we started building a relationship with Zero that kind of fostered this.
What's that like? So that's like, for you guys, that must be like we've been going these parties, we respect what they're doing, fuck, like this is our moment. Like what's the mindset like going into that?
So excited. Yeah, when we started getting invited to do more Zero events, and also just like really meet the people behind the scenes in the community and the people that go to the events all the time and are like a support network for that. It was really amazing just to connect to the people so naturally, which like makes sense in a lot of ways, but you never know. It's like meeting a celebrity and you're like, oh, I love this person, I love their work, and then you meet them and they're an asshole. You're like, oh shit. So it's always really nice when you like meet people behind the scenes and they're genuine, and it's so special to make that connection, and has just made me more excited about being involved. I feel like we have like a whole other New York family now, which is really special.
That's amazing. Hey, that's like part of the driving reason why I'm doing this is I think within our small subset of dance music exists like an 80-20 or a 90-10 rule. And what I mean by that is, 80-90% of the people are in the crowd and they're looking up at the DJ booth, having the time of their lives, but like they're always that thought, who are these people? How are they connected? Like, what does it take to build and produce all this? So the idea behind that is really shining a light on individuals like you, individuals that build these experiences. So really good segue to, what is Midnight Caviar?
Oh yeah, take it away.
Midnight Caviar is basically a concept that we kind of started developing during COVID.
Also with that Halloween retreat you missed.
Yes.
But you'll get to go. It's all right. We'll work on the time machine. Yeah.
Although we went to a sick Halloween party. She's chewing me away, but sick Halloween party. Not as cool as your guys, but it was pretty cool. But anyway, go on.
And for us, we basically see it as a way to kind of build a community that focuses around a sound that we really connect to and want to create organically, kind of like independently by ourselves. One thing that I really do like connect with is the idea of creating a collective, and also people like kind of on the same level of like growth and where they want to go, and then seeing where that can go over time when you build it together. And it's exactly what the name exudes, right? It's like this element of having caviar, which feels lavish. It feels like decadent.
Where's the Grey Poupon?
Right? And providing that kind of experience for others, but then also this midnight element, which provides a somewhat of a mystery, or like this unknown quantity that you may somewhat feel. The 3 words that actually describe the brand is sexy, nostalgic, and weird. You know, you have to have that weird component.
Hash is nodding in approval. I love those 3 words. So the one word that stuck out to me out of all those was nostalgic. So like, what about what you guys are trying to produce is nostalgic, or is it just like? So when I think about the word nostalgic within the scope of music, it actually takes me to some of the events that are going on in Europe where it's like no cell phones, no this, no that. Like that I think is like the level step that partying, nightlife in general needs, is a step back in time to like the 90s, 80s, 70s where you didn't have a phone. Like things must have been so loose before literal Big Brother was everywhere. So like what's the nostalgia mean to you?
Well, as you mentioned the phones, that is one of the components that we want to have at many of the events that we produce for that.
Our upcoming one, we're going to do the stickers on the back of the phones like they do in Berlin.
Yeah, so like just kind of trying to remove that component.
Just keep you present.
And keep people present. But the nostalgic 2 factor really plays on this idea of within the electronic music genre, there's this focus on obviously the new sounds that are coming out. It's always like the latest track that you want to play and the latest release, the latest sound. And you're constantly hunting for that too as DJs, which is amazing and great. But we also kind of realize that like, you know, old songs that people like really connect with and are like hits of back in the day, whether it be hip hop, country, or pop, they've actually really started making a lot of electronic remixes of those songs. So, not the major component of what we're doing, but a portion of it involves that kind of vibe, right? Is bridging old songs that are remixed in a way that's new and putting that into the vibe of the event as well.
Yeah, because you know that moment when you hear like a really good electronic remix and it feels like nostalgic but also fresh at the same time. You're like, oh, I didn't know that I could rediscover this track in that way. Like that's something that we're really excited about.
You know the Durando song Didn't I? It's like didn't I treat you right now? There's so many dance remixes of that, and I began listening to the original, and I was like, this song is just like on a different level. Like talk about getting in a loop of things that you like to hear. Like I cannot stop playing this song. This will be the cue-in music for this episode. I think will be Durando, Didn't I? All right, very cool. So I got a couple more questions about like the progression of you guys to like where you are now. So Armin Mirren, he puts you on or like gets your foot in the door with Zero. You begin to throw events at Zero, or you begin to throw or DJ at Zero events. Is there like a formal process for you guys to be like, we're Zero affiliated, or is it like we've just played enough of their parties where like we're comfortable as a duo to like, you know, throw Zero under our name in the parentheses?
Yeah, I would say that it's a natural progression of continually working with them and then eventually them kind of saying, hey, we want to welcome you into the family.
Yeah, and building trust on both ends too, you know, making sure it's a good fit for everybody.
For sure. So are there other, you know, you just used the word collective, which I love. Melly, are we good? Okay. Idris used the word collective, which I love. Are there any other groups in New York that you guys like respect? You go to their events. If they don't say your name, that doesn't mean they don't respect you. But is there anything that like sticks out to you that are like, all right, like we fuck with what they're doing?
I would say actually a good friend of ours, Sharif from HQ.
Okay.
We love their approach to music. He's always kind of progressively trying new things. Actually, we went to a amazing afters.
I was there. Hey.
Yeah, which actually really set me on a new pathway with minimal.
Yeah.
And kind of made me realize that like there's a super hard groove that I can connect to.
That was like they were playing sexy music at that
It
after.
was so good.
That was
Could
really
not leave. There was no usable bathroom, and we still lasted like 6 hours. So.
Yeah, we that was really funny just because, as I mentioned, we saw them probably like at 12 a.m. or I saw you at like 12 a.m.
Yes.
and then 8 hours later, I see you. I'm like, dude, and you're like, dude.
Like, at the next one.
Yeah. Like it was all love at that point.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so
Yeah.
the HQ guys. Any other honorable mentions? And if no, it's cool as well.
I would say our good friend Mike has recently also started an afters venue called Lighthouse.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's great.
1465 Myrtle Ave.
There you go. You
Dude,
know
it's
it.
like
It's
burned into
great.
my psyche after.
That's great because I can never remember the address. I always look up I'm like the Popeyes on Myrtle. I know it's right there, but I can't
The fact that
remember
I
the
just
address,
remembered
so.
that is not good. I've never even been.
I mean, it's wonderful because it's like, you know, it's up on a top floor, so you have windows, you know, the like welcoming in the day aspect of afters instead of being in like a hole in
They
the
have a party
wall.
going on right now.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Mike is also an amazing DJ.
Good friend of ours too.
Yeah, an amazing DJ, an amazing producer, and you know, it's been open just over a year now, and I think he's done really, really great things. Great supporter of many different parts of the music community, so definitely want to give him a shout out.
Shout Mike. Shout
Shout out to
Lighthouse.
Mike.
Artist name is
Alvedarian.
Ramza.
Yeah, Ramza.
Ramza.
Yeah.
I like that.
But the best part about that venue is, as Stella was alluding to, is you walk in there, it's completely white, you know, and it becomes daylight, you see the sun rising.
That's sick.
Yeah,
And it's a
full
complete
wall of windows.
different vibe
So
in regards
nice.
to like the typical after
Underground.
scene in New York.
Warehouse.
It's
Yeah.
like, you know, you're going out and you're seeing the sun kind of uplift you and give you that energy.
Yeah.
And that's like super nice and rare in New York.
Yeah.
True that.
And you're not like crawling out of a hole and then it's like noon and bright and you're like,
Right.
where am I? What's happening?
The softness of the wind will all run from
Getting ready to
Yeah.
be posted on a meme.
How are you? Alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we spoke a little bit before we started filming. You're originally from the West Coast. You're originally from New York. So Idris, like, were you, as you were coming up, and if you don't mind answering, how old are you guys?
Oh yes, I'm actually 38 years young.
Looking good.
And I'm 29.
Okay, very cool.
And actually, Mountain West, not West Coast.
Mountain West.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No,
Mountain
that's
West.
all good.
Fuck the West Coast. This is Mountain West for life. So when you were like coming up in New York, Idris, like were you going to parties, events, etc.? Like I remember when I first got to New York, one of like the kind of premier underground parties was Rinsed. I don't know if you know of or remember Rinsed. But it's this guy, Dan Wender and Blackie, but they were throwing these parties in like crazy locations, like the basement of the Barnes & Noble in Union Square as an example.
God,
They threw a party
fun.
there. But I'm curious, like, how much of like New York City just as a living, breathing, really piece of art in many ways, like influenced you, you know, as you came up through music or just as an individual?
Yeah, I would say since high school, I was very much so involved in the electronic music scene via just like who I was associated with and my friends who were like kind of older that I had worked with. And actually my first job was CVS Pharmacy.
Fuck Rite Aid, CVS, bitch.
Let's go, CVS. Get your Pedialyte there, people.
And I was like one of the youngest youngest people there, and had some older friends who would take me to some of the clubs in Manhattan, such as like Limelight,
Okay.
Kasha, Exit 1, Exit 2, and stuff like
got
that.
it.
So that was like kind of my first introduction into like the music scene, and it kind of always just kind of stayed with me. And I always like, looking back at it now too, it's like not realizing it, I always had an affinity towards music, but it's only now that recently when that I'm realizing that like it's something I want to pursue full time.
That's awesome.
You know?
So you said you're, X years young. Do you feel like you have new energy now that like you're working on this project with someone that you love over the last few years?
Yeah, even outside of the project that we're working on, the music component has been such a special treat for me because like, one, it's something I didn't realize I was super passionate about that I want to pursue professionally. And the idea of just doing it with this person you love, that just kind of really brings it all together, you know?
So do you know when specifically, like it sounds like music was tangential, at a certain point. When, if you could pinpoint it, where you're like, music is paramount. Like music is cornerstone to what we want to do. And if there's not a specific point in time, maybe like describe the first time you guys played and that really came into focus. Or tell me to fuck off.
No, that's a good question. I don't know if I can... I like Idris too, even though I came to the electronic music scene later, like music has always been a really big part of my life. I've always been a huge music appreciator. Have had like friends and boyfriends and parents who have all, really instilled a love of music in me, and I was like the one who would make the playlist for like our dorm parties or make my friends mix CDs all the time. And so coming to DJing was really cool because I was like, oh, I get to do this in like an even more curated way. So I feel like for both of us, like music has always really been part of our lives. And have always been a participant in it in some way, even though I didn't like learn any instruments for a very long time or anything.
So are you classically trained or trained in something now?
I did a couple years of piano and a couple years of flute.
Would everyone love to hear Ron Burgundy play some jazz flute? Get it going, Ron. Yeah.
Honestly,
Come on. Give him a hand.
I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared at all.
So
I love that. I cannot play any instruments.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm someone who gets those moments quite regularly. Where I'm like realizing this is what I should be doing.
I know. I was trying to pinpoint like a single.
That's
moment.
awesome though. Like
Yeah.
I still get those. I get those moments a lot. Even just like I've lived in New York for 10 years, and I'll walk around the city 10 years into it, and I'll be like, "Fuck, you live here." Like, okay, like, and then there's other times where like, "Fuck, dude, you live here." Like, okay. So, talk to me about like one of those moments. Like you guys are playing Counterblow, huge. You said you've done it before, but that's like a dream for so many people who are doing what you guys are doing. Like, what does that feel like? Like is that like I've arrived or we've arrived?
Not for me.
Okay. So what's that moment?
I just think that like there's never going to be a moment when you arrive, It's always everything's part of the journey. And I mean, it's an amazing step to accomplish, and I'm so excited to go back. We've been thinking about our set a lot, and I'm really excited to create something amazing. And I feel so grateful that we've like gotten that opportunity twice now. But I just think there's never an arrival. Like I don't think there's ever going to be a moment where I'm like, oh, I've done all I can do, or I've reached my goal.
Very good segue. This is something that we do in all of these interviews thus far. We're going to kind of reverse the order of this. Crew is going to be aware that the order's out of place. But what's the best place for whatever reason that you guys have ever DJed? Best, I know is a subjective term, but what's the kind of best place?
Well, they're all the best place.
Everywhere's
Very
the
political
best.
answer.
I mean, I'm really bad with like best and worst and stuff, but I would say like we played Sisyphus and Counterblow last summer, and I would say those are probably two of my like proudest moments for sure.
Would you
Yeah,
do you concur, Doctor?
I absolutely do concur. Thank you for asking. Those two venues too represent the way we kind of musically go as well.
Yeah.
Because like Counterblow is like super like, they do all grooves there, but it's definitely very different than Sisyphus. And like it kind of like in opposite directions, but done so well at a high level. Like, you know, Catablau, you can get like very good melodic and techno and like many other vibes there, but they do it in their own way. And Sisyphus has like a kind of like a very fun element to it.
Eclectic.
Very eclectic, feels like a mini festival, and they do it in their own way, very special. And it's like Sisyphus very much so represents like kind of like a lot of the music tastes that I have, and Catablau for sure, Stella. You know, but we love them both equally. You know?
Okay, very cool. Okay, so we were talking aspirational venue. What does that look like? Like, where's the spot? Pie in the sky, or maybe not so pie in the sky. You could be tracking towards it. Like, but like, what's the place or festival that you guys like? We want to rock that.
We would love to play Fusion
Yes,
someday.
that's definitely on the list.
Fusion Festival.
It's in Berlin.
Outside of Berlin, yeah.
Yeah, just outside of Berlin, in Germany.
Dual answer. Agreement on that?
Do you concur? Concur with what, sir? With what Dr. Ashland just said. Do you concur?
Oh, heavy agreement on that. And
Any place in the States that you're like, we want to?
actually, I feel like we've kind of hit that already. My aspirations are usually quite low. Just like
The low bar of expectation.
aspirations in regards to venues that I want to play at, and I've always like kind of dreamed in playing in a warehouse, and we've already done that.
We got a lot of those
Nice.
here.
You know, just kind of that vibe of like to play in a New York City warehouse that like is not typically a venue, and it gets transformed into that space. That's like quintessential New York right there.
I fuck with that. That's like, we're doing something we shouldn't do.
Yes.
And like, we're like, there's a lot of people here fucking with it. That's very cool.
Yeah. We really would like to play Mexico City. So hopefully.
Pitch your boy Spence.
Yeah, we've been having some conversations with a few people, so maybe this fall we'll see.
MM Roy.
Yeah.
MM Roy. We have a plug there.
Yeah.
We got a plug there.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump a little bit. Continue to the kind of standard question. So, is there are you guys doing production work? Is that something that's on the radar? Is it something you don't care about?
A journey we're starting this year. Idris is actually going to go to production school starting in August, which is really
Here
exciting.
in the city?
Yes.
323 Labs or something else?
Now I'm gonna be going to SAE Institute.
Shout out SAE Institute. Sorry, Nacho.
That was on my list, but I decided to go that route.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So in line with that, like, who's like an artist that you would like to either remix a song of theirs or collab with once like the production's kind of off the ground? Is there someone that you're like, they inspire me in some way?
Oh, that's a tough question. So many
I want
people.
2 answers from 2 different individuals, not oba+flip the duo.
I know hers actually.
Ooh, wait. This is
Ooh,
actually
this is fun.
I want you to text or just write what you think hers is, and we'll see if it's correct.
Or say mine for me, because I don't know what to do.
No. Yeah.
Oh man.
If you get this right, this
I-
is really
I
impressive.
forget the name of the album, but I know the artist.
I think that was a context clue.
Wait, are you thinking like electronic, or are you thinking remix?
Remix.
Oh, okay. So
Talk
my
about
ideal-
aspirational, homie. This is
yes.
This
so,
is
okay.
like, I just gave all the clues.
Let me tell you a story. So this is not an electronic artist, but an album that my mother introduced me. So I don't know that it's very common. I think not a lot of people are familiar with this, but Sting did the soundtrack.
I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS
There you
to
go.
the world.
But
Someone
he
gets my message in a bottle. Sorry, go on.
So Sting did the soundtrack for an IMAX movie that came out in like 1995 called The Living Sea. And it's an amazing movie. There's like no dialogue. It's literally just like his music and like these amazing underwater shots.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can rent it.
Do not be sober for that.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw it when I was like 4. The story goes, my mom took me to the theater.
I hope you were sober.
I was sober. I was
Okay.
quite sober.
When I
you know?
listened to it the first time, I was not. It's great.
Yeah.
Were you 4?
New
You don't
time
need to answer that.
New time machine situation unlocked. But yeah, it's this amazing album, and I would love to. There are a few specific songs, but I would love to remix some songs from that album.
Okay.
I just think it's like a masterpiece that not a lot of people know about.
Sting's
So
the vibe.
that's not an artist collab, but that is like my dream remix.
We will accept the
situation.
answer. Sir Idris.
Gonna let her guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
right.
you gotta type it though. We gotta keep
you on the
integrity
table.
going.
Are we thinking remixes or artist collabs?
Let's do an artist collab for this one.
Don't show him.
All right,
Look away.
this is a lot of pressure.
This is so exciting. This is the first time in episode history we're doing this. I don't know why I'm whispering. This is crazy.
Oh man, I have some ideas, but I don't think it's the people that you're gonna say. I don't think I'm gonna win this one.
Probably not. I'm all over the place. I'm
He
a wild
is.
child.
He has-
I'm a wild
he
boy.
has- He gets so
Wild.
many obsessions, so I'm like, which current one?
Just throw a flyer out.
All right, I'm gonna do this, even though. It's alright.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, I mentioned this duo earlier.
Oh fuck, he got it. All right.
I got it! Yes! I did not think that was.
Giza DJs ruined. Everything's ruined. They're in love. They know each other. Fuck.
So cute. Yay.
All right. Well, I'll drink to that. Love is
Yeah,
love, and
love
I'll
is
drink to
love.
love.
Cheers to that. Wow,
There you
I'm
go.
so proud of myself.
This has officially become a drinking show
Shots.
With kombucha.
with kombucha. Yeah.
Health.
Over 3 billion probiotic particles are swimming in this
Coursing
mezcal.
through
right
it.
now.
Gotta stay healthy. Gotta stay healthy.
All right, we're gonna do a little word association right now.
Ooh, fun.
Which of you wants to go first?
So let's put you on, Stella.
Okay, I'll go first.
So, first word that comes to mind, or series of words. Our last guest did not get the first word part. I love you, ladies, but you didn't. Okay, community.
Love.
Stop. I love that. Melodic techno.
Journey.
Armin Mirren.
Friend.
Midnight Caviar.
Luxury.
Ooh, that shit was sexy. Okay. Idris.
Oh, soulmate.
Guys. True. Come on. That deserves a clear clap.
Give me a kiss, man.
I love that. Oh my god. That just. Whoop. Okay. You're good. All right. Idris. Home.
New York City.
Woo! Shot
right.
New York.
Trying to get in.
Hip hop.
My first love.
Ooh, okay.
Sorry, girl. Sorry,
That's
girl.
3 words you're failing.
true.
Yeah.
We'll take those 3 words. Sabo.
Gold clap. Can't
Yeah.
not have it together.
Hey. That's for the initiated. I like that right there. They'll appreciate that too. 99 Scott.
Ooh, so many afters, memories.
It's words.
Memories.
Memories.
Okay.
I can't. I don't abide by the rules. All right, you know that.
That's fair.
Stella.
Everything.
Oh, crew, come on. That was amazing. That was amazing. That was amazing. I love that. Oh, you deserve a kiss too. That was fantastic. I think best answers we've gotten out of all the episodes so far.
wow.
Sorry, other people. You
Yeah,
just stepped
sorry
your
other
game up.
people, but
Just stepped your game up.
I'm not sorry, but
Don't be sorry. All right, so let's rewind the time machine a little bit. Time machine's rewound. we're in 2020. We start oba+flip, start making music. We link up with Armin, or Armin like gets you through the door at Zero. Around what time is that?
December 2021.
Oh, you got that shit dialed. Okay. So since then, you guys have done a series of your own parties, or no?
Yeah, I would say we did our own parties during COVID, and then when we started playing public events, we kind of dialed into that.
Got it. So
Midnight Caviar is kind of
what's
where-
the thought process there? Is it just is it a bandwidth thing between like throwing your own events and like being able to like kind of bring your best when you get like booked somewhere else?
I think it's a process of, we very much so go in the flow that we're currently in. And during COVID, it was okay and easy to like throw our own things because there was no other option. Once we started kind of getting booked and playing other venues, particularly with Zero regularly, that was like our main focus.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, it wasn't guaranteed that we're always going to play a Zero event, but just kind of always being ready musically and sound-wise. So we definitely spent a lot of time just finding new music, working on our sound, continually playing, refining our skills. And the idea of like Midnight Caviar kind of was somewhat of a transitional phase when we realized that like, hey, music is going to become what we do professionally and as a way to like obviously survive off of. And we realized that we wanted to start and build a community around that.
Yeah, I think also in answer to your question, if you're just starting out, it's also kind of a matter of like audience.
Yeah.
Like if we had just continued throwing our own parties, that's kind of your focus and you're building an audience for those events. Like when we were playing at more established venues and with more established brands, like we kind of got to bring in like people who hadn't yet heard our music, kind of from outside of our community, and build an audience that way. And now like moving into some events, throwing ourselves, like we have those people coming in to join us, and that can also be a focus. But I think it's like if you're trying to build your own personal audience for your sound as well as your party, like that's really tricky to do. So
Were the initial parties like a way to kind of put you guys on the map in a sense, or was it just out of the joy of party throwing, or a bit of both?
I would say more the
Joy of party throwing.
yeah, and like connecting with our community and wanting to share music with, you know, people that we love and appreciate. Yeah.
So
I get a big kick out of like providing an experience for others.
the faces.
Yes, you know,
Faces.
that's something that's always drove me to whatever it is I do, especially
Whether it was
the music.
CVS or behind the desk.
Yeah, you know, offering those facial care products to the great customers, you know, was a very important part of my life actually. Hit many
Oh,
milestones.
he also worked at Victoria's Secret.
Come on.
So I wasn't gonna put
Just
any
bringing it all out.
with the Vicky Secret plug, but are you guys just music full time right now, or do you have other shit going on like to pay rent, bills, whatever?
He's going to school.
I'm going to school. So
like production school or school outside of that?
prior to production school, I was actually attending School of Visual Arts for my master's in photography and video.
That's sick. Good for you, man.
And decided to take a year off to like kind of really fully dial into music.
You guys should link.
Great.
Yeah.
And then Stella, I'll let her kind of.
I was laid off in February. So
Fuck you, company.
yeah, that was a bummer. I had been there for 5 years, and you know it was a shock and a
Were
surprise.
you writing there?
I was editing.
Editing?
I was editing an
Were
online
you able to say the
magazine.
name or?
Yeah, so I used to work for a publication called Catapult Magazine, and I started kind of a section of that magazine called Don't Write Alone. So that was like writing resources and craft and kind of demystifying the publishing industry.
Interesting.
For those who are outside of it.
My sister's a writer.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it still is alive. No new content, but it's still up on the web.
So are you a
It's
part of the
great.
strike right now?
No, I'm not part of the strike. But yeah, you know, the layoff was really sad. I loved who I was working with. I loved what I was doing.
So when did this happen?
February.
February? All right. Well, you're collecting government cheese, hopefully.
I am collecting government cheese.
If you
and,
get laid off in the state of New York, file for unemployment. They will pay you up to $500 a week. Don't be stupid. You pay taxes
$500 a
for it.
week before taxes.
Before taxes.
But it's been good because...
Make sure you're looking for a job, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am job
Every
searching.
week you need to look for a job.
3 job search activities per week. I have a log. But yeah, it was good. You know, it was really sad in many ways, but it's been a great opportunity for me to kind of reassess, see how things go with our music for a while, and we've been really busy with that, honestly, for the past couple of months. So
Yeah, I see you
exciting new
guys
chapter.
working. I see you working.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
And it felt like, I know when that happened, it was definitely a surprise for us. And, you know, I'm somebody who like sees that happening. I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity for us
Chaos, danger, opportunities.
to just dial into the things we really care about and are passionate about, and see like, hey, there's no other obstacle in our way. Here's a chance for us to kind of really pursue what we want to potentially do.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. So, looking back at what you've done over, let's say, the last going on 4 years, any regrets?
No.
You have no regrets?
Dad?
No. Like not even a single letter?
No way. Not me.
Ooh! Good answer. I love that. Not necessarily a regret. Anything that you guys would have changed, though? Like any knowledge that you've learned, any game that you would kick to your past selves, because we do have a time machine. We jumped on it a couple times throughout our conversation today. Is there anything that you would have been like, yo, like don't play like the outdoor event with the shitty speakers, or don't do X, Y, Z, or maybe do X, Y, Z?
I mean,
Both knowledge for you and also for anyone else who's trying to come up and make music.
I'm a firm believer in the idea that, you know, everything that has happened to you has brought you to where you are today. So I'm not sure that I would say that anything has... I'm not sure I would do anything differently except for maybe like have a bit more confidence in myself.
Walk it how you talk it.
Not to get too political about it, but I also think, you know, there are not a lot of female DJs out there, and I think when we were starting in the scene,
Josie's nodding in approval.
yeah, and when we were starting in the scene, and even like occasionally still, I think the guy DJs, especially, not everybody, obviously, I have amazing, supportive, wonderful friends in my
I'll
community.
interject for you.
but-
It is a total boys club out there.
Yeah,
so-
it is, and like a lot of guys don't take me seriously, and now I'm just like, whatever, who cares? But that used to bother me a lot when I was starting out.
As it should.
So yeah.
I think that you guys, like, there are also, you know, there's not a lot of people of color, like, within the dance music community.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that you guys have, like, one,
Power
like,
couple.
yeah, no, for real, though. Like, for real. I think that's straight up.
Yeah.
What about you, Idris?
I would say definitely no regrets in that regard of like, oh, things I wish I could have done better. But the one thing though that I realize has always been the right choice is to follow the music. Whatever I'm interested in, whatever I'm truly connected to, just trust in that process and finding a way to bring that to the audience. You know,
Yeah,
that's
I agree
always
with that.
led us to more and better opportunities.
Yeah, I agree.
That's dope. I like that a lot. Trust the process.
Okay, you probably won't answer this.
Oh, fuck. That's not a good start.
But how does it feel living in the shadow of Josie?
Oh,
No. That's a great question. So I view my relationship with Josie as like, we've been together 7 years. Josie is like a mirror, and I see Josie, and it's like, where can I level up? Where am I not living up to my fullest potential? Where am I not being the best version of myself, or listening to my intuition, or following the path that I should be on? And I think all of this is really a byproduct of that. So I've watched her over the last, 3 years, like lean into something that she's passionate about. And being a DJ, especially initially, it's very, you're up in front of people, you hope that they like what you're putting down, and it's a very vulnerable moment. And I've been to, I think, every one of her performances, and seeing her go through that has been the lift that I needed to listen to the own voice in my head. So like, I've done improv, I've done stand-up comedy. I always wanted to do something with regards to like making content, putting something out. Like, this is very natural to me. So it isn't, living in anyone's shadow. It's really like rising to the occasion and being like the best version of me, because I'm seeing someone, I'm living with someone being, their best and highest self.
And I say that with a bit of New York sarcasm, because it's something that I realize that like it works really well for our relationship as well, is the idea of like constantly using each other's energy and aspirations and dreams to kind of build upon each other.
100%. A good relationship is extended periods of bliss with a fucking heavy fight thrown in there every once in a while. And what I mean by that, it's like you are in a very symbiotic place, you love each other, there's intimacy, but it's like that person is identifying where you're falling short and they're leveling you up. And you in turn are giving them feedback where they're falling short and they're leveling you up. And I think that can happen in a active way, like a communication, or it can happen in a passive way where it's just like, yo, like you're fucking doing something. And we, in our personal lives, like both work crazy corporate jobs, titles, money, this, that. And what we realized was music is not tangential. We fell in love on a dance floor. Like we've been doing this for, years together as, passerbys, and we realized that music is paramount to our existence, and we want to lean into it. So I think, you're spot on.
Cool.
Read more books. Guys.
Read more books, guys.
Thank you so
you.
much.
And thanks to the team. Appreciate you
Thank
all.
you, crew.
Yes.
What's
Let's
the
go.
date in Berlin?
We play morning of July 8th.
Morning of July 8th. This will 1000% not be out by then, but
Zero Caterblau.
yeah,
Let's go.
Zero Caterblau. Oba+flip. Thank you guys so much.